welcome to Crooked Letter Sports Podcast, the show about Mississippi sports and the folks who play them. I'm Tyler Cleveland, joined as always by my co-host and dad, Rick Cleveland of Mississippi Today fame. Dad, did you enjoy the weekend? I hope so.
Yeah, lots of baseball.
It's the best time of the year, man. It's incredible. I'm getting texts from people I hadn't talked to since this time last year about college baseball.
Yeah, of course we had the NCAA tournament pairings came out, and as usual, Mississippi is well represented, and normally that would be what we'd start out talking about, but man, an Ole Miss golfer changed that yesterday.
Yeah, we want to talk about the national championship for Michael Sasso. We will break down all of the, look at the regionals one by one, but yeah, as you said yesterday, it just kind of, it was one of those things where it popped on the radar, just, it's like, hey, do you know this guy's in contention? And then all of a sudden he's the national champ. I know you have done a little bit of work on it, writing about it this morning. What can you tell us about it?
What I can tell you is, this victory in the NCAA individual championship puts him in the U.S. Open in 2 weeks, and then the Masters next April. He had a pretty good day yesterday.
I'd say so.
He is also automatically qualified for the Korn Ferry Tour, which he's expected to he's got a year of eligibility left, but he won't use it. He's going to go pro.
Strike while the irons are hot.
Well, and they are hot. And, buddy, let me tell you what. I watched it yesterday. The Golf Channel carries it. And, brother, he goes after the ball now. He swings at it. I mean,
I can appreciate that.
When he hits down on a 8 or 9 iron, it's like the earth shakes. I mean, he really goes after it. And
not because he's buried the
he's
edge of the club into the planet like I have and dig into China?
No, his ball makes the sound it's supposed to make. Only it's a lot louder than 99.9% of the rest of the people on the planet. And, he's a junior. He's from Raleigh, North Carolina. He transferred to Ole Miss after his freshman season at North Carolina State. And his game has just gotten so much better in 2 years at Ole Miss. He's really, really improved. He's the number 11 ranked amateur player in the world.
Okay.
And he's the second Ole Miss Rebel ever to win the NCAA championship following Braden Thornberry, who now, of course, plays the PGA Tour.
Right. Well, what a fantastic break for this young man.
Well, yeah, and he made it. He made the breaks. The most impressive thing about what he did was that in the final round on Sunday, he had a couple bad breaks, got a couple mud balls and a bad bounce, and makes 2 double bogeys, and all of a sudden he goes from third-round leader to 2 shots behind, and then he fights back, plays just a superb back 9 on a really tough golf course, and brings it home, wins by 2 shots, and Ole Miss qualified. They were 8th in the stroke play standings, which puts them in the quarterfinals of match play. So they're playing Arizona State. This is Tuesday morning. We're recording this, and they're playing Arizona State as we speak.
Well, I hope it's somewhere sunnier than here, buddy.
Well, it's Carlsbad, California, right outside of San Diego. Yeah, I imagine
I'm sure it's fantastic.
The weather's probably better than it is here.
Yeah,
we may float away any minute.
Yeah, it's getting bad out there. But man, what a fantastic story. The one thing that struck me is, like you were saying, his the power. But if he draws it from his legs, I can see where it comes from.
Yeah, he's built like a fullback. I mean, he's got bodybuilder legs. I mean, just massive.
Yeah.
Massive.
Sebastian Janikowski legs. It's incredible. Yeah. Dad, that was not the only big news for It was not the only big news for the Ole Miss Rebels. Not only did they get a regional host spot, but they've got a cool lineup, I thought, coming to Oxford. Murray State, just as the 4 seed, just a fantastic, what are they, 39-13? Just one of the best 4 seeds, I think, in the tournament. And then they get Georgia Tech and Western Kentucky, 2 really good. Western Kentucky's got 46 wins. It's just going to be some really great baseball up there.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, Murray State played a midweek game against Western Kentucky during the season and beat them.
No, so they're one of the 12 losses.
Yeah, and Murray State also played a midweek. Well, they played a midweek game at Kentucky and beat them. Mm-hmm. And they played a midweek game at Ole Miss back in February or early March and lost in extra innings. So they're not a gimme.
No, they're not. And I will say this is going to be a little bit different atmosphere than those midweek games earlier in the season.
Oh, and a little bit different left-hander on the mound, probably.
Yeah, well, I want to get to that. We're going to talk about that and how these coaches approach this thing. I want to take a look at some of the other regionals first. The Hattiesburg also gets a regional. I know they were borderline. They get in as, according to D1 Baseball, as the 16th. They're the number 16 seed.
They are the number 16
So they were the
seed.
last team to get a regional. Certainly, both of us thought, we talked last week, that they deserved it. But they get the regional, and they get, I think statistically, if you just look at the average RPIs of the teams involved, the toughest regional. They've got Alabama in as the 2 seed. They're 41-16 with an RPI that's actually lower than Southern Miss's. And then I think it was Miami is the 3 seed at 31-24. But hell, it's Miami.
Great tradition.
Yeah, fantastic. They're always going to be salty in the postseason. And then Columbia out of the Ivy League went 29-17, 16-5 in Ivy League games as the 4 seed, who they'll have to face first. And I want to talk. Well, first of all, Mississippi State and the Tallahassee Regional. Before we go any further, the Bulldogs pulled it together at the end of the season, closed strong, and get the nod as the number 3 seed in the Tallahassee Regional. Of course, host Florida State, having a fantastic season as always. But then Mississippi State gets to play Northeastern, who is the 2 seed, right? Northeastern, what do they do? Win 48 games, 48-9. They're riding.
They come into the tournament having won 26 straight.
Yeah, that's pretty strong. And I know, and as I told you on the way over here, I bet that win streak comes to an end, but we'll see. I don't think they face many teams like the Bulldogs down the stretch. Of course, the other team in that regional is Bethune-Cookman, who has probably the highest RPI of any team to get in the tournament at 200. Really kind of ballooned the average RPI in that regional. But I think that's a really tough regional. Bethune-Cookman aside, hell, Northeastern, like you said, won 26 in a row. You've got Mississippi State and Florida State, both college baseball royalty. And, it's going to be a tough matchup for them down there, especially on the road. But I think they can probably pull that out, depending on which team shows up. If it's the one that played these series down the stretch in the second half of the season, minus that one game in the SEC tournament, I think they got a chance.
Sure. You and I have talked about it, and I've written about it. This Mississippi State season sort of mirrors Ole Miss in 2022. They've, given up for dead back in April and changed coaches and got hot. And, Ole Miss didn't change coaches, thank goodness, but State did, and they got hot. They're playing in Florida just like Ole Miss did in an NCAA regional. Ole Miss had to go through Miami. State's got to go through Florida State as a 3 seed. And it would be no more remarkable than what Ole Miss did in 2022 if State was to win in Tallahassee and play in a super regional and win that and go to the College World Series and win it, which is what Ole Miss did.
Well, I know that Tallahassee is a notoriously tough place to play, with great baseball tradition, like I said. So I'm looking forward to all of these regionals. I think State's situation is a little different from Ole Miss and Southern Miss's in that, as the number 1 seed, these teams are going to face presumably the weakest team in the regional first.
Yeah.
And we come back to this thing every year. What do you do pitching wise, right? And for Ole Miss and Southern Miss, they both have well-defined Friday night aces.
Two of the best in the country.
Right. So let's take a look at this first. Ole Miss has got Murray State, and which is, like I mentioned, a really good team, won 39 games in the regular season. Do you save your starter? Hunter Elliott. I mean, do you save him for the? I mean, he's a good left. I mean, for him, it's a little bit different because he's left-handed, and it may be a matchups thing based on the lineup you may face in the second round. But I mean, I don't know. I know traditionally you just throw the guy available, but that it works out as often as it doesn't.
Right, and Riley Maddox, the number 2 Ole Miss starter, has been pretty salty lately. I would lean toward holding
Elliott,
but I could understand if they don't. I probably should have done more research and be able to say whether Georgia Tech is a strong left-handed hitting team. I just don't know.
You don't know the tendencies of Georgia Tech's baseball team? What are you, some slacker?
Well, why don't you go ahead and tell me?
If I'm them, I'm pitching Riley Maddox in the first game and saving Hunter Elliott for Georgia Tech, just because he's been so consistent and so good down the stretch here. And if you win that first game with Riley Maddox on the, I mean, you win the first game with Hunter Elliott, you're in a great spot. You win the first game with Riley Maddox, now you're cooking with gas, right? You got Hunter Elliott to go against Georgia Tech, and then hopefully can eat a bunch of innings and get them deep into that regional.
Well, the thing we know about Hunter Elliott, because we've seen him do it a lot of times before, is he's at his best in the biggest games. I mean, he's a
gamer for sure.
I'd want him against the best team we play.
Yep. And on the other side in Hattiesburg, I really think, it's kind of funny because traditionally, you and I have watched a lot of Southern Miss baseball over the years, and going back to Corky Palmer through Scott Berry, they always throw the ace.
I have a feeling they might not this time.
I really don't think they should. I mean, just based on the matchup, I feel like Columbia, an Ivy League team, under 30 wins, you got to feel good with Matt Adams in that game.
Matt Adams has won his last.
I know. That's why you got to feel good about it. And because J.B. Middleton's obviously one of the best pitchers in college baseball. So, wouldn't you want him for the potential matchup against like a 40-win Alabama team that probably should be hosting its own regional? You know what I mean?
Yes. I've written about it. I'm on record. This is one time I would go against old school, and better than most people I'm old school. But I would go with – I just think I would hold JB for either Alabama or Miami, and it could be either one of them because Miami, is going to have an ace. And then you get to play the other best team in your bracket with your number 1 against their number 2. That's a win.
Yeah, you got. That's what I'm thinking. I'm interested to see what. And on that same note, what Georgia Tech does with Western Kentucky. I would imagine they're going to want to get in the winner's bracket, and they'll probably throw their ace as well. Western Kentucky's no slouch. 46 wins.
Western Kentucky is really a good team. Georgia Tech, although they won the ACC regular season, did not play 3 of the top 5 teams in the league.
I hate this damn schedule.
It's just ridiculous.
The fact that Southern Miss did not play Coastal Carolina, you get these big conferences and then they just, because of travel whatever, they just don't all play each other.
Well, you heard the chairman of the baseball committee yesterday talking about how hard it makes seeding when you have teams in the same league that don't play each other.
Right.
It's ridiculous. You told me something on the way over here that really surprised me. Columbia comes into the Hattiesburg with an RPI of 60. I would have guessed it was over 100.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you just look at average RPI for each regional, the Hattiesburg regional is the toughest one by at least, I mean, it's 6 or 7 points. The average RPI of the teams in Hattiesburg is 33, and that's buoyed by Columbia's 60. I mean, Southern Miss is 19, Alabama's 13, and Miami is 40. That combines to be the lowest average for any regional. It's funny enough, the one in Tallahassee that State is in has 3 teams in the top 35 RPI, and then Bethune-Cookman, who comes in at like 200, which kind of makes that number outrageous.
But it's also misleading in a way, because in the SWAC, you're going to have a low
if you lose any conference games, you're going even if you win all your conference games, the average number is going to be low.
Bethune-Cookman over the years has played some pretty good baseball. They've had some big wins in the NCAA tournament. I don't know. I can't cite them offhand, but I just remember over the years of them knocking off some people in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah. I think the other team
almost Ole Miss one year, by the way.
Yeah. Well, there's all those years Jackson State was playing in those regionals at like places like, Lafayette, and they would take them deep. I mean, it was, I remember one game I was sitting there watching, it was, 1-0 Jackson State, like in the 7th inning, and I was calling people to tell them to turn it on.
Well, famously, or maybe not so famously, but something we're well aware of is one of Corky Palmer's best teams at Southern Miss. They're hosting a regional in Hattiesburg, and they're matched up against Southern University and Ricky Weeks in the first round, and he hit 2 balls over those pine trees, and they beat Southern and kept them. That's eventually what kept them from advancing, was losing that opening game to Southern.
Well, it's baseball. Anything can happen. I will say, just looking at all the regionals, I mean, I've never seen a committee that loves a team more than LSU. They love LSU, and they're not going – I mean, it's just – I'm looking at the Baton Rouge Regional. The number 2 seed is Dallas Baptist, who I know that I should have more respect for, but I just don't. And they're like – their RPI is 21, which is fantastic. But look at the other teams in LSU's regional. Dallas Baptist, Rhode Island, and Little Rock. Little Rock, who's the lowest RPI, I should say the highest RPI, 238. Last got to be, obviously a conference champion, worked their way in. But Rhode Island with an RPI of 68 is the 3 seed. Just a ridiculously, for LSU, they should run roughshod over Dallas Baptist, Rhode Island, and Little Rock in any given year.
Well, yeah, LSU, though, that opening game, we're talking about saving pitchers. They could pitch the guy that sits on the end of the bench in the bullpen and beat Little Rock.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. And LSU's RPI was 11. It's not like they were in, you know what I mean? Like, they're not, whatever. It just seems like some teams get a little more preferential treatment.
About it.
LSU.
LSU's happy about it, and the bartenders in Omaha.
Right. Well, they still got to get past that super regional. I think they're matched up with the Clemson regional, which is considerably more stacked with Kentucky and West Virginia in there. So, just overall, though, I like the matchups for the Mississippi teams. I feel like they've got a fair chance as anybody to get out of them. I do think that regional in Hattiesburg is going to be tough, but they're playing at home. And they're playing pretty good baseball. Got to the finals of the conference tournament before their win streak was snapped.
At 18.
Yeah, at 18. That's pretty good. So, I feel like they're playing pretty well right now. Ole Miss, the same. Got to the conference tournament championship run into a really good Vanderbilt team that is going to make some noise. The arms that Vanderbilt runs out there, my God. Especially at the SEC tournament, they're at an end of a week of baseball, and they're rolling out some of the best arms that exist in college baseball at the end of that game the other night.
Well, but I was – and also, we've already talked a little bit about LSU, but I'm watching them the other day. and their first reliever they bring in is throwing 101.
Mm-hmm.
And then they change relievers and bring in a guy whose first pitch is 102.
Yeah. No, that's...
it's insane.
It's pretty ridiculous. So, of the three, who do you think has the best chance to advance and why?
Well, Ole Miss has the best chance to advance because they don't the teams they have to beat they don't have an Alabama in their regional.
Yeah. No, I mean, I know.
And they should. I mean, they were higher seeded, and that's the way it works.
Right.
But I think if you ask me who has the best chance to advance, I would say Ole Miss, followed by Southern Miss, followed by Mississippi State.
Yeah, I would say the Rebels too, but I would lean more on just how solid, and not to say that Southern Miss's starting pitching has not been solid, but man, like you're talking about, like Hunter Elliott's just a gamer and a dog and a good left-hander. I mean, I feel like their starting pitching specifically has been so good here lately.
Well, and their bullpen during the SEC tournament was great.
Incredible. Until that last game, they didn't give up a run.
Yeah. Well, here, you know who's lucky about all this?
Us, because we get to watch.
We get to watch.
You're damn right. I'm all about it. I'm here for it, too. I'm here for it. Well, Dad, what else are you looking forward to this week?
That's it, man. Well, you know, when we leave here, I'm going to go home and watch the
match play.
See how Ole Miss does in match play against Arizona State. And you need to watch it just to see, watch this kid swing now.
Sasso.
Yeah,
where does that name rank for you? I mean, that's way up there. Michael Sasso.
Yeah. Well, he's got some charisma about him. You need to watch a little of it.
All right. Well,
you need to try to swing like him.
Well, I think that ship has sailed, buddy, especially this week. You would need a ship to get around the golf course out here. And that's about all the time we got this week, Dad. Hope everybody listening has a safe week out there and stays dry. And we're going to talk to you on the other side of these regionals. Reminder, you can keep up with all of Rick's latest writings over at MississippiToday.org. And we'll see you at a ballpark this week.